The summer patch has only just dropped for BF4 of the vanilla variety, but Battlefield does not stand still, especially on the CTE version. More changes are constantly coming to the CTE, and there's sure to be another patch in the next few months for the base game. So let's cover some of the recent changes and improvements to the CTE that may be making their way to the vanilla game in the not too distant future. Firstly, there are some really cool gameplay additions that have been ported across from Battlefield Hardline. Yep, that's right, BF4 is taking some elements from Hardline. The minimap will now better display verticality when displaying enemy positions, giving you a better idea if the enemy is either above you or below you. It will make finding those pesky enemies a lot easier if they're inside a building or on top of a structure somewhere and you're trying to track them down. It's a great addition that many players have requested. Also, with the minimap, we now see the addition of the flag capture zones, and this is extremely useful, especially for new players. If you don't know what this is, basically when you're in the capture zone of a flag, it will show on the minimap exactly where the capture radius is, so you know 100% where you can cap the flag from and where you can't. It's such a simple but great addition that I'm amazed hasn't been implemented before in legacy Battlefield games. And the last thing being ported over from Hardline, the squad leader system is being introduced. And what this does is it allows a squad leader to be replaced if he or she isn't doing their job. So if Billy Jobsworth has no idea how to be a good squad leader and a squad member requests an order, he or she has 30 seconds to respond and give an order, or they're going to be replaced. So for people who want to play in an active squad and play the objective, this is of course a good change, and it does a good job of encouraging team play. In the CTE, we now see some changes to smoke grenades, but more specifically your ability to see through them. Night vision scopes, so the IRNV or the FLIR for example, can no longer see enemies through smoke grenades. On the surface, this seems like a change that's mainly catering for night operations because, of course, a lot of people will be using night optics when playing the night maps. And what it also means is that smokes can be a lot more tactical potentially, which is how I think they should be. I'd much rather have a game where I have one or two smokes that I can use as effective cover occasionally to move from A to B than how it is at the moment, which is constantly being shot through a wall of smoke by players I can't see using IRNV or FLIR scopes. Because that's how it is right now on the vanilla game, on a lot of rush maps in particular. It's not very fun at all. There are still some issues though. For quite some time, DICE have said they've fixed being able to spot enemies through smoke grenades. It's something that's been touched on a number of times before, but it still feels like it isn't 100% fixed yet. So it's still possible occasionally to spot people through smoke and get them. Also, you've got to remember that if an enemy has been spotted by another player who isn't looking at them through smoke, you're still going to be able to see that spotted player through the smoke, if that makes sense. And of course, this really does defeat the point of being able to pop a smoke to cross an area and to keep the enemy guessing if they're still able to spot through the smoke and see where you are. It's certainly better than it used to be, but it still isn't quite fixed yet. If smoke grenades are going to actually be utilised properly and be tactical and even be used in competitive matches once again, it has to be fixed so you can't spot enemies through them at all, in my opinion. I'm sure it's not an easy fix to get right, but if it can be done, it's going to make a big difference. The smoke grenades are especially useful right now on the community map project as DICE is testing out the Rush version, and I can say that it's really good. Rush works very well on this map, and I definitely recommend that you jump on and try it out. There are some small changes to Rush as well. Now when the attacking team takes the first two MCOMs, the defending players who were around the MCOMs are forced to move and are no longer allowed to stay in that area. It still needs some refinement, but the base system and the idea is now in place. Air vehicles have also been touched by the hand of DICE. Below radar, that tasty treat from BF3, well, it's back and it's been added into the CTE. It's a passive addition, so all air vehicles will get it automatically, and I think if you head below 25 meters in a heli and below 50 meters in a jet, it's going to activate, and it means that heat seekers, passive radar and active radars on air vehicles, as well as passive and active radar on the mobile anti-air, will not lock onto you. The Igla, HMV2 and AA mines, however, will all still work, so if you're going low, you got to be wary and mindful of those. And finally, remember that dusting issue for jets and attack helicopters I mentioned in the summer patch video a few days ago? Well, apparently that was a problem with the latest server patch, and thankfully a new patch has been developed to fix that, and that's going to be rolling out on September the 14th. And that's all for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the little update. Definitely some interesting gameplay mechanics coming in. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.